Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. So I've driven us north a little bit. I figured I could cut out a couple of quick settlement visits, so you guys don't have to see us doing the same stuff over and over again. But we are here in Makera, about to pick up the first of Dr. Vanch's samples, and I figured this might be worth catching on camera. Before you leave the kinetopede, Dr. Vanch presents you with a mask identical to his own. Even compared to Ragskin and Tooth Retreat, Mummer's frenzy is dreadfully contagious, he tells you. Make sure you wear this at all times. The afflicted have quarantined themselves on a small network of rooftops in the eastern quarter of Makera. You approach by boat, your oars slapping against treacle with painstaking slowness. Let's wait here and watch, says Dr. Vanch, handing you a pair of brass binoculars. There are breaks in the frenzy when they will be a little more lucid. Okay, I can sit here and watch, I guess. The people on the rooftops are lying in makeshift beds, their arms thrown dramatically over their heads. Or they're pacing, wailing, and tearing their hair. Or they're huddled under blankets and rocking back and forth. And then abruptly they all stand up, face you, and bow. Then they begin milling about, chatting to each other amiably. Dr. Vanch is already urging the boat forward. You clamber up to the nearest roof, and one of the afflicted approaches with a beaming smile. What do you think of my performance so far? She asks. I'm a makeup artist. I just need to renew your prosthetics. Okay, yeah, we'll use our guile to get a sample in a very clever way. She upturns her face without hesitation. You pretend to fuss around her a little, cutting a tiny snippet from her hair and handing it to Dr. Vanch. Places, people, places, shouts another of the afflicted. There's a flurry of activity as the men and women suddenly jump for their beds. They begin to groan or rock back and forth or tear out their hair. Oh, got to go, says the young woman merrily. She dashes to the edge of the roof and begins to scream, a sound of raw and piercing agony. So, it's a disease that makes them think that they need to... It makes them think that they're in a play about being horribly diseased? Or... I mean, it's not the weirdest thing we've seen. Sure, back to the kinetopede. A curious disease, says Dr. Vanch as you row back to the kinetopede. The symptoms can be suppressed for a while with hazard coffee and willpower, but sooner or later, the delusion will win. So, are they really diseased, or are they just performing? I'm not sure there's a difference, he says. Yeah, I guess. You row the rest of the way in silence. Is this guy really a doctor, do you think? what do you think the odds are? Alright, I don't believe there's anything else for us to do here. No. Alright. Is there anything fun to buy? No. We can sell them stuff. I don't really... Okay. It would be kind of neat if you brought them enough supplies and it helped them actually rebuild and the town changed significantly. Anyway. So, next disease is quite a bit north. Of course, we have to be wary of the cursed region. So, I think we go like 3 tiles west, and then we go north for a really long time. Do we want to... Like, obviously we want to end up over here. Do we want to steer off and summon the Salt Cove Queen real quick? That might be a good... You know what? This might be a good use of our time. Let's do that. It looks like we probably want to go like west a couple and then start the diagonal. And that'll take us in a wide berth around the cursed area. Alright, peer inside the destroyed helicopter. Inside you find a battered diary, no doubt belonging to the absent pilot. You flick through the faded pages and learn with fascination about a world blanketed by hungry ghouls, with only occasional pockets of human survivors. Sure, I mean, listen, if there's a ton of... Oh, what's going on? The beast is loose. Oh, the dangerous beast got loose. Flapping, roaring, it careers through the corridors, Pat Young hanging limply from its horn. Oh, the teeth, the eyes, the stench. The stench in particular. Well, I suppose, you know what, just shoot the damn thing. We don't particularly need an alive, dangerous beast. You set the rifle to your shoulder and bark in order. Barrels crack and muzzles flash all around you, and hot gun smoke clings to your nostrils. Your first fusillade just angers the thing, but the second drops it dead. It leaves a truly magnificent corpse. Poor Pat Young, who I had never heard of, and who I am completely unfamiliar with. What you guys got? Caloram rum. Not a thing worth buying, I think. Oh, I forgot. I was gonna do some research and figure out what it was that the clock-faced god wanted from us. You know what? It can be a thing for the next episode. It's fine. We got lots of stuff to do here. A lot of driving ahead of us. At some point, you'd think we'd figure out how to keep the train going in a straight line. It is weird, though, that thing only happens at some doorways, like every once in a while. I mean, even there, you could see that the back end of the train ended up, like, in the doorway. Okay, these guys were actually coming after us. They think they can fight us. Let's see, is it worth going at them? Our people are actually recovering. It looks like most people are at full health. They have 4 guards, but a pretty small number of guns. Honestly, there's just not a lot of incentive for us to fight a random group of enemies, though. Not when we can run away with incredible effectiveness. Enter the cottage, find some paraphernalia. Immediately forget where you were in your route. Yeah, whatever. We'll just go northwest for a while. We'll figure it out eventually. Where are we at with everybody else? For the Augustus thing, we still need to just, we need to get some revolutionary sympathies, right? And Cromlech... Yeah, we're not actually ready for Cromlech's ritual. His thing is just bugged, so he always has the little bubble. But, I mean, you know, as long as we're here. Cromlech and you are finding ever more dangerous places to enjoy each other. That's a lovely euphemism. More than once you've had to hide beneath his desk from an inquisitive crew member, or shove him behind the fuel tank when an engineer comes whistling down to inspect the furnace. Another lovely euphemism. The thrill of being discovered is intoxicating. The scandal would ruin you both. That doesn't make sense. People already know. Remember how my vampire ex-girlfriend threatened to kill me over it? People definitely already know. You retreat back to your bedroom for a meal and a game of backgammon. Another wonderful euphemism. And who doesn't enjoy a good game of backgammon, if you know what I'm saying? I am kind of curious, like, where that's progressing to. Yeah, we're more or less... I probably went too far west, but we're more or less on track. That's fine. We'll go north a couple of times. We do have some... Now that we're making these loops that actually go the entire length of the house, we are spending a lot of time away from the cities. Maybe we can convince these guys to sell us their factory goods. Oh, they came after us. You know what? Desperate folk indeed. All that awaits them at home is a brisk interrogation and a hanging, and they know it. They want your money and they want your fuel. I'll give it to them. I'm fine with that. Oh, not even a little narrative event, really? Listen, I'm not saying that I only helped them because I thought there would be a reward, but I would like a reward. Even just a reward of sweet, sweet content. That rarest and most valuable of goods. Alright, so we'll head north... Yeah, north like one more, and then resume our diagonal path. Aren't we awfully far north for the green walls? I guess we left Athena. We're headed toward Old Hallow, yeah, huh. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly which part of the house is which. You know, that's almost certainly what's happening. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, because how could I possibly remember? But my memory is not always the best. It's fine. For actual mechanical purposes, the different parts of the house aren't really that different. It is a little bit of a shame that, like, you do see different enemies. Uh-oh. Another swabby desperately trying to stab themselves to death. Maybe we should stop going to those kinds of buildings. So we have lost a lot of crew that way, it feels like. You see different kinds of enemy vehicles in different places. If you're fighting people a lot, I guess it matters more. But the fact that if you're not fighting them in practice, there's almost no difference between the different types of people you might encounter. Does make all the areas feel kind of similar. I was trying to do this. Okay. Disquieting incident. You know, a disquieting incident is... that's currency. That's something. I missed, like... I was gonna say, it feels like we should have gotten there already. But it turns out I am a bad. I sort of wish that they moved a little bit more differently, so that it's like... Even if your primary goal is to avoid most things you encounter, it would still feel a little bit more different. The different parts of the house would feel a little bit more different. Alright, let's do a thing that is perhaps a real bad idea. Requires 10 Gandolin trout. Okay. I should make a note of that. But I won't. Let's get our hair cut. Let's get drunk. Let's... not bother the men at the bar. We'll just take the free sanity. Of course, gather news. Always gather news. And then we're doing all right on sanity. We'll take a moment to cuddle the rhinoceros. The fourth wonderful euphemism of the episode. And then just move right along. So, the City of Masks. You know, we almost never go to the City of Masks, I feel like. Let's grab news from there, and then we'll head east. And try to get to all of the other stuff. So we finished, as far as delves go, we finished the Founder. Is that right? We finished the Founder and the one in Carapace, and we still have to finish the Svadilfari and the baths in Phobator Quinn. Let's grab ourselves some Bottled Darkness. You can never have enough, it turns out. So if we get, was it one more delve done, then we can go back to the Frost Giant and we'll get some kind of reward, but we didn't actually negotiate for like what the reward would be, which feels like a bit of an oversight on my part. So who knows exactly what that is. Hey, you guys, you want to sell me some factory goods perhaps? Nope, just random well-to-do travelers. I mean, if we were going to attack somebody to try to steal their factory goods, I assume we would want to wait until we encounter a gigantipede that actually says it's government men. Or governor's men, rather. Alright, visit the Drifting Bean, get paid, gather news. We really should come back here more often because of the Drifting Bean. Wander the streets. Okay, the guy's putting on the play. Just make a counter-argument. Get ourselves some currencies. Some lovely abstract currencies. You know what? We don't actually need to recruit. I don't even know why I clicked that button. I suppose we could use that as a way to recruit some more swabbies, because we are starting to run a little low, I think. But honestly, I just don't care enough. Alright, is there anything, I believe, you know, this being one of the cities, it's just kind of the same garbage that's available everywhere, right? I'll sell them my penny dreadfuls. We don't need these. The unsanctioned scripture maybe I'll hold on to, even though it could get us in trouble back at, potentially back at the City of Keys, if those guys find it. So, we do have the option of just going back to the Hostage King and telling him to buzz off. I sort of want to see the quest through, though. I think our character's growing desperation for a way out of the house means that we want to actually get the factory goods and see this through. So north 3 times, then east a whole bunch, and we've managed to safely avoid the part of the house where all of the scary doors are. Enter the cottage, get some paraphernalia. You know how I love paraphernalia. 50 guineas for Fargyle whiskey. I don't even think that's a good price. Well, naturally occurring perfectly rectangular holes. Nothing strange about that. So we did get to the point eventually... You know what, hold on. I'm going to encounter these guys. Blood Mad Vicars. Some members of Gravidon's clergy. You know what? I don't want to fight them. I was going to say, if these are governor's men who are coming after us, then, you know, we can take their factory goods in self-defense. That seems pretty sensible. It does look like these guys would be pretty easy to defeat via boarding. but I think we'd probably take a lot of damage while doing it, and it's just... the odds of us getting anything useful out of this are so low, we may as well just bounce. It's so easy to do, you know? I don't remember if we actually needed to go north again. No, we did not. I do not remember what I was saying. You know, it can't have been that important. Oh, there came a point during the Sunless Skies series where I started cutting out a lot of the travel time because, you know, we all know what to expect. We may be at that point with this series. Could be that it is time to start heavily editing things because the interesting stuff is going to happen at the destinations, most likely. We've seen a lot of the other things. You know, like we're going to encounter this and it's going to be like, you want to look for a book? And we find out, hey, look, it's one of those books that we found 10,000 of. Gaze into the pure water. Have a haunting vision of an eye, or of a heart in an eye socket. Which is weird, because that's not where hearts usually go. Get it? You get how spooky that is? I do appreciate that. Like, we have always had an easy enough time avoiding people, but I do appreciate that we can now just completely embarrass anybody who tries to chase us down, thanks to our very fine scuttlers. Oh my god, we're like halfway there. It's a little bit of a drive. Yeah, join our crew. We could really use, apparently, a new guard. Huh, I guess we had just lost a guard. That's weird. I feel like it's almost always the swabbies who die. I suppose, though, if a dangerous beast is going to break free and kill somebody, it's probably going to kill somebody who was trying to fight it, and that person would probably be a guard. That's very embarrassing for that cathedral on treads there. Well, it looks like these guys are not paying attention to me, which means I am paying attention to them. Just salvagers. Yeah. I guess we should try to collide with everything. We've only seen Governor's Men in Gigantopedes, but we don't actually know that they can only occur in Gigantopedes. It might be the case that, like, at least in normal trains, I bet you can see them. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go ahead and have the encounter. Unromantic pirates. You know, just totally normal pirates. We failed to destroy their ship for free, so we get to do this thing. What about you guys? Do you guys want to be a little bit more useful to me? Nope, you want to be identically useful. Okay, we blew them up. We took a prisoner. We found an undamaged cache of 60 guineas. Did we actually? It didn't say in you get stuff text, but yeah, okay, I think we actually did. I honestly have no idea what our number of guineas was before. Ask how he got here. Do not take him prisoner. Resist your automatic urge to take people prisoner. There's only so much space in the brig, you know? We need to, speaking of which, we need to eject the people from our jail cells. Once we make it back to the cities, I guess. Alright, we're almost there. I suppose maybe I should have stopped off in, what do you call it? The place that has the founder in it. But whatever. We've gone too far now. I suppose there is 100 guineas in it for gathering the news. Maybe we'll swing back through. Alright, of course, here at Hextall, we do this thing. We attend another lecture, because why not? Hey, look at that. Cultural knowledge. Boy, we're not getting the cultural knowledge that we actually need, unfortunately. We don't really need the hull repairs. We should rest and recover a bunch. Alright, and then we'll interact with our pet after we leave. I will gladly sell you all of my treatises and this delicious meat I found. I don't know. We'll sell one rack of pinned insects. I want to hold on to one of them, just, you know, just in case. So should we head back to Founder's Fire? I kind of want to just... I mean, I know it's money, but I think we're going to just head east. How much more money do we really need? I guess a lot if we want to upgrade our dwelling. But also, do I care? And we're like really far off too, especially considering that we'd probably want to wait until we were over 6,000 above the amount of money that we need, because I think we still owe $6,000 to the Icarian Geists, and I would hate to have them show up asking for it and have us not have it to give to them. Something tells me that might turn out poorly. Alright, gather news. Hooray, we have all of this knowledge. Okay. The High Temple has split open again. They should figure out how to fix this. Like this place is always just split wide open. We'll chat with Waif, because why not? And we don't really need to buy fuel, but I'm totally going to buy fuel. This price is fine, you know? Alright, north... Yeah, east twice, north some. Like I'm saying, there is an actual real chance that we will be able to make it to the bottom of the Failbetter Quinn maze this time, and maybe get one of those... whatever it was? What... Whatever those things were that we were having visions about, one of them's in Failbetter Quinn. Ask how he got here, and then just leave him there. Listen, he's got his switch on him. He'll be fine. Some ill-mannered brutes. Didn't even really look like they were after us. I will flee from them. We could probably... My guess is we could probably defeat those ones pretty easily. It's a small, sad train, but I just don't care enough. I also should probably stop caring so much about all these random things. But, you know, we do use these currencies for stuff occasionally. Although we probably have about 50 arcane codices. You're not Governor's men, are you? Nope, just some dream terrors. Alright, successfully wake the dreamer. You'd think they could leave some of their, like, dream money behind. Maybe a big chest of dream gemstones. We really don't have much cause to be afraid of pretty much anything at this point. Sorry, that's not true. We've definitely seen ships. Methods of conveyance that I don't really want to fight. It's just, we're so good at fleeing. So this has become the heart of our characterization. Man, our character sure is good at running away from things. Bronzemen. Bronzemen I do not need to kill. Okay, let us gather news. Nope. Whiffed it and just had those big crab dreams again. You know how that could be. Let's go ahead and cuddle the rhinoceros before we attempt to make a drop into the stupefaction baths. Alright, head deeper, head deeper. My mother is after you, says the scary young boy, but we got all this insight. Nope, gotten all turned around and you end up back at the entrance lobby. Damn it. One of these days. That time we at least had a reasonable chance of passing the check. I mean, listen, we'll be back through here. I'm not too concerned about it. Right, the Foreigner's Palace is useless, and the Dreamer's Den also basically useless. Alright, so we need to go... I guess we want to go through Eld Abrathat. I don't know if I want to go all this far north. We'll go through Eld Abrathat and then come back to Gandola. I am really not looking forward to reading the text about Tooth Retreat. It's a funny name for a disease, but also it's a name with basically 100% horrifying implications. It's going to be a lot less fun to actually witness than it is to hear the name of, is my concern. Yeah, we may as well stop off and talk to these guys. Anything interesting for sale? Nope. 64 guineas is at least a reasonable price for those two things together. How are we going to just fail to find a book? That's very embarrassing. Okay, gather news and wander the screws, and it turns out you get lost. Then you pass an insight check and find your way out. Not super helpful. Drop off your passenger and pick up a new passenger for Gossamer Smile. Alright, that's a little bit of a trip. May as well visit the archaeological digs and steal a thing. Ah, a bizarre effigy. That's not even a fun thing to steal. Preach the word of Anglecrab here. One of these days, Anglecrab will like us. I am pretty curious what we would get out of propitiating Anglecrab, if only we could get to that level of positive feeling. Play with the dog, and then I guess we're done here too? From the screws, we could buy a bunch of stuff we don't need. Although I don't really want to sell them my stuff either. I guess we could sell them all of our paraphernalia. And honestly, probably all of our grimoires. Let's see, we have 5 ancient codices, 9 ancient grimoires. You know, I don't know how many of those that I might actually need, but I know it's not 9. Alright, we'll keep 2. We'll keep a couple on hand, just in case of a grimoire emergency. You know how that sort of thing can happen. Alright, we just need to go south one more time. Just a bunch of random priests. If we want to encounter Governor's Men, I wonder if the best thing to do is going to be going back to the little 3x3 square that got drawn for us when we originally got the quest. I just sort of assumed, from the fact that there is a place that can buy factory goods, and at a pretty solid price as well, that they'd be a thing you have lots of opportunities to get a hold of. And maybe that's not actually turning out to be the case. Damn these bats. I'm definitely... They're not jump scaring me all that often anymore. Apparently I did eventually adjust. Alright, gather news. Nice and cheap, wander the walkways. Alright, let's try this fishing thing again. Nope, apparently I'm horrible at fishing. Weird. Alright, let's, I suppose, help gather samples. The afflicted of Gandola are quarantined in their own little shanty ghetto. The walkways that link most of Gandola's houses together have been destroyed, and you can only travel to the district by boat. In Gandola, they call it Devil Town, which is very dramatic. Then again, this sounds like a pretty dramatic affliction. 200 feet from Devil Town's borders, the suspicious gondolier makes you get out and wade. You soon see the reasoning behind its unfortunate name. Waiting at the docks to greet you are a group of men and women with magnificent chalk-white antlers extruding from their heads. Oh, wow, that's what happens, huh? One is holding a spear. We must be careful, says Dr. Vanch, his leather suit making him unbearably slow in the chest-high water. Those who suffer from Tooth Retreat can behave very strangely. Tooth Retreat would be quite a different disease. Come closer, orders the antlered man with the spear. Come closer. Are you the archivists? We will need one of their horns or teeth, whispers Dr. Vanch. That is where the infection takes root. Well, we could do it with just blind violence, but why don't we attempt some guile here? Oh yeah, we're archivists. That's us. The antlered man helps you up onto the dock. We are honored, scared, ecstatic to receive you, archivists, he tells you. Up this close, you can see the wideness of his eyes, smell the decay on his breath. May we submit you our sins? He leads you through the slumped walkways of Deviltown, waving his spear and speaking in half-nonsense riddles. Eyes peer between broken slats in the broken houses that surround you. Here and there, in shadowed crevices, you see the ghost-white flash of an antler. I kinda wanna duck out of the guided tour here and see what's going on. Deviltown has been neglected for decades, but there are no corpses. The only antlers you find are attached to the still living, who flit from you like terrified gazelles. Finally, after pulling up the boards, you find the remains of several people buried in a wall. Boy, that was a hell of a thing to just, intuitively jump to doing. The skulls reveal the horrendous nature of tooth retreat. The antlers are upper teeth which have withdrawn into the gums. After that, they grow up through the skull, branching like trees, pushing slowly through the brain. Then they trepan out from within. This is all we need, says Dr. Vanch. Let us leave this cursed place. Can I be honest with you? This is going to sound crazy when I just say it like this, but that's a little bit less horrifying than I was expecting. Teeth are a tough thing. Everybody's weird about teeth. I say, to convince myself that I'm not the strange one. Alright, cuddle your rhinoceros, and then I guess we're done here. We could buy a bunch of trout. I mean, we may as well, right? I don't know exactly how heavy trout are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what has that done to my cargo weight? We're fine. We're fine. We do need to carry an awful lot of fish around for that other thing. So we could head through Founder's Fire and then up the diagonal. I suppose that's a reasonable thing to do, rather than going any further north. So we can get the next step of, this step of Dr. Vanch's thing finished right away, which seems like an okay idea. And then we'll head back to the City of Keys and we'll make ourselves some money and sort of reset and figure out what the next thing is. Let's issue some terrible threats? How dare they? Alright. I spooked him. I spooked him with my terrible threats. And also, our guns. It didn't say explicitly that we used our guns, but if you have a bunch of guns, that's how you want to threaten people. You know what they say? An uncertain muzzle is worth 1,000 words. Okay, great. Excellent work there, train. Sometimes I think this thing is conspiring against me. That's right. By itself. It's a one-train conspiracy. The house is just like that, Got some bones and some hooch. And that's actually gonna... Yeah, I was gonna say. The hooch is certainly gonna put us over. Do we have any lumber? No. Okay. Well, that being the case, I think we throw out the blinding hooch. Which apparently I had... Okay, there we go. Already had some of. I mean, we're probably carrying a lot of weird garbage. I could, I suppose, go through the cargo hold and figure out what we can actually afford to just throw away. Because, for real, it's a lot of garbage. Fargal whiskey. I gotta say, I do feel like those random purchase events are a little bit of a bummer. If they're just going to sell you totally mundane stuff that you can easily buy in a lot of places, or at least places that are really close to the cities, they should give you a much larger discount to actually make that interesting, or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they would have to do to make me excited to encounter a train that can sell me stuff, but they're not. Whatever it is, they're not actually doing it right now. Alright, I'm not even going to bother checking with those guys. They're not going to be governors, man. They're not going to have anything fun. Alright, gather news. No reason to visit the Prince's Eye. Submerge yourself in color and spectacle. You can never have enough spectacle. Suppose go on up to a private ball. We should be able to visit our pets again, right? Yeah. And then I guess we're good. We could sell some stuff here. But honestly, we're not going to get anywhere near 30k, so it's not really a reason for us to divest ourselves of our currencies just yet. I will totally sell all of these, though. They're so easy to come by. Alright, we could have sold our dangerous beast alive for not really that much money. Do we have multiple zoological specimens, or are we down to just one? We are down to just one. Okay, so we still want to hold on to that. We are not ready to get rid of that yet. Alright. West and then diagonally up, it looks like. Almost home again. Get ourselves some guineas, get ourselves some apprehensions, and then who knows what. I suppose we could go check out the cottage, but at this point, I think the resources we would get from that are not even worth the time it would take to go over there. These guys I'm interested in, though. Nope, just random travelers. We could, I suppose, become a pretty effective bandit. Be very hard for anyone to get away from us, and also we have enough guns to accomplish things against the people who do not get away from us. I didn't want to take on the Bottled Darkness there, because I figured we were just going to have to throw something out anyway. Blow up their stuff. Oh hey, we actually got loot from that time. You can throw hazard coffee in the engine, right? Let's just do that. Am I more or less on track? Yeah. Yeah, I would say pretty on track, given that the place is right in here. Okay, scavenge, as always. You overturn kinetopedes, dig beneath the hulking wrecks of blimps. Beneath a shattered gigantopede, you discover a mass of skeletons. They must have been hit by some of the strange occult weaponry popular during the glass reclamation, for their bones are covered in strange growths, like ivory thorns. Oh, these guys also had tooth retreat. Let's respect the dead, because I really, really don't want to take on additional bones. You know, like most people. I have enough bones. I feel okay with my bone count. And immediately the train crashes before we've even had a chance to do anything. These guys look like they are coming after us. It's just random deserters. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna run away. We should probably have just given them the fuel. That's way more in character. Even if we know we're not gonna get anything for it. It's just the kind of Tiger Man we're supposed to be. You know, the kind who routinely just leaves people to die in the dark. I feel bad imprisoning someone even for their own good. I suppose that thing that your train sometimes does when you enter a room, or it crashes into itself, is a good way for a good way to keep draining money out of your account. You know, try to keep the economy under control. The pirates want to... Okay, these are very theatrical pirates. I'm not interested in messing with their whole thing. And of course they had to... yeah, fine. Of course they had to teleport backward directly in front of us. Yeah, let's just get the hell out of here. This is a terrible waste of our very important time. You know, we're always doing things of such great import. Like, for example, crashing every single car of our train into those ribs. One by one. I wonder, are we going to be able to get anything out of the naughty doctors? Nope. They just silently float away from us. I kind of thought that might be the case. Alright, if I can read a map correctly, this is it. Hooray! Alright, let's see about ragskin. I mean, this can't be pleasant either, right? You find ragskin sufferers only in the poorest districts. Slaughterer's Wharf or Grendelside, where the air is thick with self-conscious despair. They gather under bridges and on the riverbanks, hollow-eyed starvelings whose skin hangs off their bones like tattered cloaks. They flutter in all directions as you approach, their footsteps light as air, and watch you from the darkest corners. Now please, step forward and do not be alarmed, says Dr. Vanch, striking a pose. I am a doctor, and I am here to save the world. He is met with stillness and silence. Gee, what a surprise. I'm gonna try to talk to these people. I'm just gonna calm them down. You talk in a kind, patient voice, and the tatterdemalions creep closer. Their threadbare swaths of flesh tremble like moth's wings. It's pretty gross. How can you help us? Croaks the nearest. The sound of language is startling. The dying men and women are so reduced that it had been difficult to think of them in human terms. That's a bad instinct. You can't help them, you reply, but you need a scrap of theirs. Skin, preferably, or something else infected. It can't help them, but it will help others. The nearest, tatterdemalion, the one who had spoken, tears away a strip of dangling flesh. You know, no big deal. No, not like it's any hardship, she mutters. We have too much of the stuff. Her face is a fountain of ribbons. Oh, listen, that's less gross than I was afraid it was going to be from its name. Obviously, it's not great to apparently continually grow additional flesh, but could be worse. Yeah, I'll give them some money. Maybe they can go buy their own laudanum. The tatterdemalions take your money with the same hopeless acceptance with which they'd take a kicking or a bullet. Well, alright, I thought it was going to maybe be a little bit better for them. Oh, this sample will be magnificently useful, pronounces Dr. Vanch as you return to the Kinetipede. I am grateful for your help thus far. He retreats to his quarters and slams the door. And then we gather some news and may as well repair the hull and just wander around a bit. Okay, yep, we see the City of Knives again. It is always lovely here. I'm gonna release our prisoners here in this place, I think. Alright, get out of my hold. Release ghoul prisoner. Okay. I don't know if they were actually taking up cargo space, I realized. They might have been. That's not why I did it. But also, it would be nice to yeah, okay. I think they were. It's nice to reclaim the cargo space. Definitely don't want to sell my undreamt treasure. 270 gold for the bottled darkness is not like a super good deal. Don't need any of this stuff, and yeah. I guess the Caloram rum sells for 80. It would have been worth picking it up from that train we encountered. But it's not exciting. I hold by my earlier statement. Alright, so at this point, are we just headed back home? Yeah, I think so. We'll swing through Kennedy Yard on the way. Maybe we should hit the City of Angels. I'm trying to remember. Have we been there? I don't remember. I don't remember if we've been there since the last time we were at the city. It might be the case that we fetch mirrored from the City of Angels. So we may well not actually gain anything by going over here. But it's not like it's going to cost us a ton of fuel. We may as well just double check. Actually, I guess I don't need to do this way. We could go in here and go to information, current affairs, yeah, City of Angels. Okay, never mind. In fact, we are already good. So, yeah, I guess we just take the diagonal. Alright, Blood Mad Vickers. We flee. At least they had the common decency not to try to chase me again. And yeah, we can just stop by Kennedy Yard. I think we have the reputation necessary to actually let them, or get them to let us in. I think. Oh, an explosion rocks the yard. The fence has been blown apart, iron spikes splayed like broken teeth. An alarm is wailing. A jumpsuited figure dashes through the rising dust cloud. A young man, his bearded face matted with blood. Several governor's men stride through the swirling smoke behind him, aiming their rifles at his back. I am sorta... So this place it's a prison. It's also a quarantine. I kind of want to save him, though. We really don't get along with the governor's men all that much. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. You dive on the SKP just as the rifle cracks. A bullet whizzes past your scalp, leaving a red-hot line of quickly fading pain. Just a scratch, thank goodness. I mean, I get shot all the time. It's not a big deal. The SKP writhes beneath you, fingers clawing at your face. He seems to think you're here to apprehend him. I can see why that would be the case. Listen, buddy, I'm here to rescue you. The desperate SKP spasms for breath. Name's Peter, he says. I need to get out of here. A puff of dust beside you as a bullet hits the floor. A searchlight traps you and Peter in its beam. More alarms wail, and more governor's men are approaching. Well, we may as well just spend our flare. We're close enough to the City of Keys, and they're not super expensive. The flare bursts overhead with the light of an exploding sun. Scraps of shadow flee to the room's furthest corners. The governor's men reel back, firing blindly into the air. You grab Peter and dash back to the kinetopede, hiding in the rolling smoke. He runs alongside you, wiping the blood from his face and breathing hard. Just as you reach the kinetopede, a ring of bullet holes blossom in the hull, with a series of sharp staccato plinkety-thunks. Glancing back, you see a dozen more bullets hanging casually in the air, as though they do this all the time. If they kept flying, they'd have killed you and Peter. Get in, gasps Peter. A fresh stream of blood pours from one nostril, and the bullets drop. Okay, so he's Neo. I mean, that seems like a useful guy to have on board. So we did take some hull damage. That's good, good union of story and mechanics. And, of course, big reputation hit. Scuttle away as fast as your mechanical legs can carry you. And now we can no longer petition for entry. I should have done this first. Ah, well. So yeah, we're just going home. West and south. I wonder if we'll be able to... I mean, I guess there was no way we're going to be able to interact with the dude. Oh, we should talk to Dr. Vanch, though. He has assembled his samples. There's been a lot of hammering and drilling issuing from his room recently. Opening the door to Dr. Vanch's quarters, you find the room almost entirely taken up by a huge device. A pot-bellied iron chamber, large enough for a man to climb into, with dozens of tubes feeding into its top. Ah, SB, says Dr. Vanch. I was hoping to see you. Now we have acquired the necessary samples. I need to find a way to communicate with the diseases. I'm missing some materials. If you happen on them in our travels, I think they'd help greatly in completing my work. Okay, a zoological specimen alive, which we have, warding iron, which is easy enough to get, some chillstone, and some medicinal herbs. Alright, we can make that happen. I don't actually know where you get chillstone. I mean, I know we've seen it for sale before. Alright, same text. I am real curious where that relationship is going. And enter the cottage, get some stuff. Okay, so where are we actually... No, this is fine. We'll just cross over here and then go south until we get where we're going. And, I mean, we may as well check on these guys. You are just deserters. Oh, I did it again. I did the mechanically right thing instead of the characterfully right thing. Distressed merchants. Well, you're actually really close to the city. I'm going to give you 1 fuel. You'll be able to make it back home. I mean, they are, like, real close to the city. So, let's gather news as ever. Can't sell while our reputation is that low. That's fine. We'll figure it out. Pretty cheap repairs, given the amount of damage we've taken there. The Howling Pits is, yeah, just going to offer us the same stuff as usual. The Black Market... Witch's Butter and Toad Skin, neither of which we need. What about selling? Obscene booklets. You know what? I will absolutely sell them my obscene booklets and my Bottled Darkness. I don't think we... How much Bottled Darkness do we have? Because we certainly don't need very much. 6. Yeah, let's part with some of this. Can we do that again? Yeah. Hangnot Mob have been taking notice of us. They've been coming down hard on our operation. Is there anything I can do about that? No, there's no option to even ask. That's fine. Alright, easy enough to get more Bottled Darkness. I think we'll hold on to 1. Okay, so yeah, I'll sell 1 more. I mean, that's a fair amount of money we made there. And then my Obscene Booklet I definitely don't have any value for. We'll keep the rest of this, though. So, you know, we're actually not that far off of 30k, it turns out. Or 36. That's the... rather. Probably a little bit safer. So yeah, I think one more loop, and we will totally be able to do this. Alright, back to the streets. Let's visit our dwellings, write some poetry, I suppose. We could entertain a guest, like Augustus Ribbons. Augustus arrives 5 minutes early. From your window, you watch as he stares unblinkingly at his pocket watch for the full 5 minutes, and then knocks precisely as the hour strikes. At first, he is reticent, preferring to sip brandy and listen rather than talk. But as the night wears on and the fire roars and the armchairs threaten to swallow you both, he grows more animated, chuckling, gesturing, telling you exciting stories from his military career. He leaves very late, and gives you the firmest of firm handshakes before he departs. I may have had rather too much to drink, he says, though his voice and bearing are as steady as ever. Do forgive any improprieties. Well, at least he's very, very, very polite. Alright, poems. Do we want to write something else? We should press this button at least. 93% complete. Wow, that's really going backwards. At least it's a good source of apprehensions. You decide that what your masterpiece truly needs is more poetry. Yeah, of course, that must be the case. You compose several ditties and add them to the appendices. That's almost the actual work itself. And then we have 16 lurid tales. I mean, we may as well do this, right? We have plenty of material. A ghoulish true crime anthology. It's the opposite of respectable, but poetry won't pay the bills. Boy, ain't that the truth. You draw untrue and half-true stories that you've heard or lived, and churn out a collection of short stories that chill the blood. You spend several days choosing a title which your publisher discards immediately, preferring a more literal and less literary approach. Soon, copies of lurid tales, true stories of blood, butchery, and the bizarre, are selling from bookstalls all over the city. Your publisher takes the lion's share, of course, but still, 2,000 guineas. Literary contacts and critics are disdainful, but you receive floods of genuinely touching letters from your readers. And hey, that's what really matters. I mean, that and the money, obviously. Alright, we'll get ourselves a whole bunch more apprehensions, because boy oh boy, do we have some currencies to turn in here. Turns out, I get a lot of moments of melancholy. Let's just hold on to some fragments of stuff just in case. We are definitely going to be able to push our stats up. Turns out we don't have enough insight. I don't know exactly how much we need, but we're going to end up with more. We'll keep the horrifying ordeals from here. Write one of these and one of those. And yeah, we get a lot of reflections on mortality too. We can certainly afford to spend some of those. Alright, so we have several hundred apprehensions now. Do we really want to leave the whole city? Is there nothing else to do here? Let's wander the streets a little bit. Oh, the Hangnot Mob. let's dive through the crowd toward her. Yeah, stop that lady from doing that thing. Alright, and then I think we're actually good here. Well... speak to Peter McNally, the escapee you rescued from Kennedy Yard. He's currently sitting in the pilot bay, asking enthusiastic questions about what each lever does. Since his rescue, the escapee has shed his orange suit and acquired a thick cable-knit jumper and a pair of very practical, pocket-ridden trousers. He has idled away his time speaking to your crew, learning as much as he can about the house. Apparently, until he stepped on board your kinetipede, he was ignorant of almost everything there was to know about this dimension. Well, I mean, that makes sense. If they took him to Kennedy Yard, pretty good odds are he was like a recent visitant, right? When you step into the cargo hold, you find him sitting atop a crate, whittling something from a piece of wood. He greets you with a friendly smile. Hey, how did you stop those bullets in midair? I think that's a pretty useful thing to do. You've never seen an act of the occult performed so quickly. No candles, no chanting, no blood at all. No fuss. I mean, we saw blood. How did I... what? Peter smiles uncertainly, pausing in his whittling. Wood shavings flutter around his boots. Why, I don't remember anything like that. A trick of the light, perhaps. Alright, what do you want to do now? Well, actually, I had a request, Peter coughs. I would like to join your crew as a navigator. I don't know the house very well, but I have a good sense of direction, and I love a good map. I just need a few weeks to get the hang of things. He finally finishes his whittling, and holds up a small carving of an oddly realistic heart. Every valve and artery is lovingly rendered. The knife vanishes inside one of his many pockets. I don't have anywhere else to go, you see, he says, and I've got to know your crew quite well already. Seems safer. After all, I'm still on the run. Well, I think, who's my current navigator? I don't remember which crew member actually does which thing. I'm gonna reject his application. You know what? No, I'll think it over. We can recruit him later if it makes sense to do so. And with that, I was scrolling down here to interact with the pet. Or waif, you know, whatever. Do we want to drop anything off at the museum? I think we're going to hold on to this undreamt treasure for the Princess Heart quest. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I guess we're done here. Definitely buy ourselves a new flare. Want to make sure we have one. And that aside... oh, Chillstone. Should definitely buy some Chillstone. So wait, what else did we need for that quest? Let's step outside the city real quick. Actually, it might be in our concerns list. Zoological specimen, Chillstone, warding iron, medicinal herbs. So actually, you can buy warding iron here. Are medicinal herbs available? Medicinal herbs are available somewhere nearby. Is that the City of Angels, maybe? It might be. Let's head over there and see. I mean, we are going to end up wanting to go there anyway, right? I think that's where we could buy the herbs. Oh, and then we have... is it just the same... oh! I was figuring we were just going to be able to dream of the trickster again. Yeah, okay. So apparently the next thing to do was to dream and let Morbizarre tell us what's up next. I'm totally into that. You dream that your kinetipede is cradled once more in Morbizarre's palm, the cliff-sized clock face looming above. You are sitting on the kinetipede roof, and a smaller Morbizarre sits next to you. Hello, mate, says the smaller Morbizarre. He and she is puffing merrily on a pipe, which juts jauntily from the clock approximately where a mouth should be. You unlocked the door. Good job. I knew you could do it. That's only the first door that we need to get through, though. There's another further south that also needs unlocking. But forget that. I'm getting ahead of myself. We can't unlock the second door yet. Why not? Well, because the house can rearrange itself at will, he and she says. 12 numerals become a dozen mouths, each blowing a stream of pipe smoke. And it has a healthy instinct for self-preservation. As soon as you unlock that second door, the house will realize what we're up to. It'll shuffle the rooms around, and the scar we seek will be sent elsewhere, behind another dozen locked doors, probably, which would be a hassle. Yeah, I certainly don't have another dozen keys. Yeah, Persephone explained this to me before. We need to find the trickster, then. Well, Morbizar pauses, rather deflated. You're still dreaming of Persephone, then. It's a shame. She and he puffs on the pipe. I know what you're doing. You're keeping us both on the go at the same time for the sake of your own curiosity. You want to stretch this out as long as possible before you're forced to make a choice. He and she leans forward, and the gargantuan clock above leans forward too. Take it from me, mate. Two-timing a couple of immortals is a shit idea. Make a decision soon, or this is going to go poorly for you. You don't even see the dagger before the blade sinks between your ribs, a gurgle of trapped blood in your chest. When you awake, you are gasping for breath, chest seized by agony. Okay. Well, it's a mite possessive, but I get the message. Alright, so we will find stuff about the trickster, and we'll use it to help Morbizar, then. Which means that the thing that we really need to do, I guess, is dream of the trickster some more, or actually finish that Failbetter Quinn thing. A mile-high pillar of crudely conjoined crows caw in unison. That does not feel like a place that we've seen before. Let's do another one. You dream of a tweed-coated fellow on a balcony, gazing up at the starry sky. He wears the mask of a fox. Is that familiar? Me another one? You dream of the City of Keys, a figure waiting at the Kinetipede station, a battered suitcase in one hand, a peaked cap shadowing her face. She looks up. With a jolt, you recognize her. Viola Knox, your old chief engineer. Ah, you caught me, boss, she says cheerfully. Her usually dour face breaks into a broad grin. Been following your progress for some time, ain't I? You've dreamed of all of the aspects of the trickster. You only need to find one. Huh. Didn't we... No, I didn't kill her. We shot her, but I didn't kill her. Was that Knox? I think that was Viola Knox that I shot in that alleyway. Well, I mean, it seems like we could probably just go back and hire her if we know that she's at the City of Keys. That might turn out to be an easier way to do the thing. Because apparently the Failbetter Quinn thing is still going to be fairly challenging. Although, speaking of which, we should probably spend some apprehensions on Cromlech here and get our insight up even further. And then, throw one of these out. Oh, interesting. You kiss Cromlech, enjoying the feel of his beard tickling your chin. But he breaks away, looking deeply sorrowful. Oh, enough. This dalliance has gone too far. I don't care about my reputation, but this affair risks deeply damaging yours. I must insist that we end it. Oh, well, that's a little heartbreaking. I'm gonna try to avert this. But Cromlech, I love you. Cromlech is weeping. He dabs at his eyes with a silk handkerchief. Oh, I love you too. He throws his arms around you. Gods help us. I love you too. Your dalliance with Cromlech has grown into love. Well, isn't that sweet? You embrace fiercely and don't part for a long time. Listen, I'll tell you what it is, man. It's the pancakes. Alright, let's do... I don't know how much insight we really need here, but we're going to get a bunch. Okay, where does that put us? That's got us at 90. And it leaves us with 246 more apprehensions. Boy, you sure do get a lot. What else do we want to push up? I mean, our Esoterica and our Insight are both in pretty good places. Let's Guile a little bit. I think Guile and Graft, I think. I do want my Graft to be higher. I like the fact that I don't have to move the mouse for this. I'm just going to feed him the rest of our apprehensions because it's easy to do so. 73 Graft. It's a start. Alright, let's see about these medicinal herbs, if I am remembering correctly. Drabtooth. Ah, yes, Drabtooth Market. That is, in fact, precisely the place that we want to be. We may as well gather news while we're here, and of course, rest and recover back to full, wander the streets, steal a book, unsanctioned scripture. And then... can we interact with the pet? I guess we shouldn't interact with the pet now. We should wait until we leave the city. Let's advertise for a crew member. I'm kind of curious. Okay, so we can't pull Viola Nox from here. Maybe we have to do it at the City of Keys, or maybe, you know, we didn't have that much reputation with her, so we'd probably have to do the recruit option that costs money, and then just hope that she comes up in the role. It turns out she didn't have great feelings about us when we last parted ways. All right, I know the episode's gotten a bit long. Oh, we're a little overweight. Well, can I sell anything then? We could sell... I mean, it doesn't make sense to sell fuel. No, I guess not. I guess they won't buy any of the things we might need to get rid of. Well, let's get... let's cut down on these. Okay. Let's just step out of the city real quick here and interact with Dr. Vanch, and then we'll probably call it there. Splendid, splendid, says Dr. Vanch. My invention nears completion. Soon I will be able to communicate with any disease that harbors sentience. I will report to you my results over the next few weeks. He retreats to his lab, murmuring and occasionally cackling. Okay, and that has spent the zoological specimen alive that we were going to use for Cromlech's ritual, so we got to get a new one. We also have to still get a monolith, which I guess is a thing we can do next time. We're not that far from the Goat Stones. Also, Forbidden Tryst, because, you know, free romantic encounters. Still the thing about not getting caught. Okay. We are probably making it somewhat difficult for him to do his job. Although it seems like he probably doesn't care too much. Alright, I think that right there is where we're going to stop for today. So we've received a pretty harsh warning, and I noticed this time Morbazar had no apologies for us about the killing. So I think that is it for us for today. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I think we better dedicate ourselves to one of those two quests in a pretty serious way. And honestly, I think I know which one. And we'll see you then.